This lecture is going to be about plotting and color in R. It's kind of an adjunct lecture to the lectures that we've already had about plotting in both the base graphics and the lattice graphics system. I just want to talk a little bit about how you can specify different types of colors using different palettes in R. You might think that the specification of color in a plot is maybe kind of a secondary decision, and in some sense it is. It's definitely secondary to something like the data. But of course, the judicious and appropriate use of colors, I think, in plots can help to describe the relationships that you're trying to demonstrate, and can help various dimensions of the data come out more effectively than if you just choose an arbitrary set of colors. So there are a couple of functions and things that I'm going to cover in this lecture, but the basic point is that the default color schemes for most of the plots in R are pretty bad, and you don't have to be an expert in design or anything to really kind of see this. But the natural color schemes that you kind of gravitate towards when you use the plotting functions are not particularly well suited for different kinds of data. But there have been a number of developments in R via packages and also in the core R system that can help with the handling and specification of colors in various types of plots. And so I'm going to talk about one of these packages and some of the functions in this lecture. So the basic problem that typically comes out in most plots is this is a pretty standard plot in R that you might see in a presentation or in a paper. There's some points on the plot, and I'm just plotting random points here. And you see that the points are in three different colors. The first is black. The open circles are in black. Then there's a couple of points that are in red, and then there are a couple of points that are in green. So why does this happen? Well, because when in most plotting functions there'll be a call argument, call, and when you say call equals 1, you get black. When you say call equals 2, you get red. And when you say call equals 3, you get green. And so if you have a plot and you want three different colors in it, it's very easy to say, okay, well, just give me call equals 1, 2, 3. And so you get black, red, and green. Call equals 4 would have been something like cyan, and then call equals 5 is magenta. So those are the kind of standard colors that you just get stuck with when you set call equal to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And so if you go this route, the red and the green are not particularly meaningful in this case. Of course, you don't know what the data are about, so it's possible that they are. But in most cases, they're not the most suitable colors for the type of data that you're going to show. And also, just from a design point, if you use this color scheme all the time, then all of your plots will look like they belong in some Christmas show or Christmas presentation. So the question is whether or not we can choose a better set of colors that better communicates the ideas that we're trying to get across. Another standard set of colors is shown here. This is the volcano data set that comes with R, and it's basically a data set that shows different elevations of a volcano. And the set of colors on the left comes from the heat colors palette, and so this is a palette of colors that goes from kind of a reddish to indicate low to a yellow or white to indicate high. And then on the right side here, we've got a palette of colors called the topo colors or topographical colors, and this goes from a kind of blue, which indicates low, to a brown or a white, which indicates high. So for the heat colors, if you kind of know what fire is, it may be reasonable to kind of see that picture and know that kind of what is kind of low and what is high. For the topographical colors, it's maybe not immediately clear to some people what is low and what is high. It's not so. The fact that blue is low and green is higher than blue, it may not be particularly obvious. It's not particularly obvious to me.